Thank you once again to everyone who made the time to be here with us this evening as we begin our final presentation in our Ag-cademy program for 2025. This evening we have Ms. Jordan Norbert, who would be sharing her wealth of knowledge with us on agro-processing. Just to give a bit of background on Ms. Norbert, Jordan Norbert is a sustainable food systems specialist, an international speaker, and the founder and CEO of the Eco Food Training and Certification Agency, with academic and professional background in hotel, tourism, and food and beverage operations. She's also involved in education and sustainability. Her social enterprise and startup is dedicated to advancing sustainable practices within the Caribbean's food and hospitality sectors, training over 500 persons locally and regionally through her entity's various training programs in sustainable food. Under her leadership, EcoFood has established strategic partnerships and collaborations with the World Chef Association, Electrolux Food Foundation, and the Taiwanese Technical Mission in St. Lucia, whilst also being the recipient of the Anita James Social Impact Award for Food Security and Nutrition in 2024 under EcoFood, under her entity. In 2025, Jordan represented St. Lucia at the Global Entrepreneurship Congress in Indianapolis and emerged as the winner of the early stage category of the Entrepreneurship World Cup St. Lucia competition in 2024. She has served as an Island Innovation Ambassador from 2021 to 2022 and a Global Green Growth Institute Business Coach. Jordan will also represent the World Chef Association as a masterclass facilitator for an upcoming FAO international project engaging young chefs globally in advancing sustainable food systems within their communities. And through her work, she remains steadfast in promoting food security, waste reduction, and sustainable culinary innovation across the small island developing states. Of course, this evening, I'm glad to present to you Ms. Jordan Norbert. Ms. Jordan Norbert, take it away.
Okay, thank you so much again, Otto, for that. Let me just show my face. For those persons who didn't see me yesterday, quickly, I'm just going to show my face so you can see me. Okay, for some reason it's not. Okay, my video wants to give trouble. My camera wants to give some trouble, but okay, that's all right. Yeah, so thank you so much again, Otto, for that introduction. I am so excited, and I didn't even know I was the final speaker for tonight. I thought you still had more sessions, so this makes it even more special. Um, yeah, so I'm really really happy tonight to be here with you all again. And then what we're going to be focusing on tonight, it's almost like we're piggybacking off of what we had touched on Tuesday, but it's more on a more advanced level, right? So on Tuesday we looked at part one of Introduction to Agro-Processing, and using raw ingredients to make them more valuable, right? And now we're looking at part two, which is like part one, but it's more of a more advanced level in agro-processing. And that's value addition and product development in agro-processing. Yeah, you can go
Let
next
me know when you
slide.
want to change the slides.
Yes. You can go ahead and change now. Hold on a second. Okay, so as I said, tonight we're going to be shifting from basics transformation and stepping more into strategic development, right, of agro-processed products. Now, at this level, you're not just making, for example, pepper sauce or seasoning blends. You are actually designing a brand and developing a market ready product, whilst also building a system that generates income and sustainable income, whilst also reducing waste and strengthening food security in the region, right? So as women entrepreneurs, and we spoke about this on Tuesday, we set the trend, or should I say, you set the trend, right? And women more and more are starting to dominate agriculture related micro enterprises, right? And of course, this means that you hold tremendous influence in shaping the future of Caribbean food systems. Okay. Our countries are now part of a global marketplace. And of course, this means that our products must meet global standards in safety, branding, shelf life, consistency, and cost efficiency, right? So, throughout today's session, we're going to be exploring how to innovate, how to scale smartly, and how to use certain strategies for product development, and of course, how to truly compete using the incredible resources we already have right here in the Caribbean region. Okay, next slide. Right, so Right. So as I said, women really play a critical role in this. And of course, when we look at the global standards, we want to ensure that our products are safe for consumption. We are creating a strong brand because remember, there are lots of other businesses out there, bigger companies selling a lot more products, right? So no, it's okay, Otto. Go back to the last slide. Yes, yeah, that's fine. Right. And then of course you look at the shelf life, right? You want to ensure that whatever ingredients you are using in your products, that it's not only organic or environmentally friendly, right? But it is also suitable and it is compatible with the type of product that you're processing, right? You also want to ensure consistency in your product. And of course, this means maintaining uniformity in quality across all your batches, right? And we spoke about some of the things you would have to have in place in your business to ensure that you maintain this consistency, right? So that includes a standard operating procedure and having recipe cards, right, for your different products. And of course, you want to look at cost efficiency. That means optimizing your production to remain competitive. Okay, next. Okay, so what exactly is advanced value addition? All right, we're going to explore that. Now, now that we understand the bigger picture, right? So let's get into what this really means. At this level, value addition is not just about making something from your crops, right? Or making something from raw ingredients. It's actually about layering different types of value onto the product so consumers feel compelled to pay more for it, right? Um, when looking at this, we have to look at functional value in one layer, right? Because there are different layers, right? So you have the functional value, and this includes nutritional benefits, health enhancements, diet friendly alternatives, for example, like gluten free cassava flour. Then we have sensory value. Okay. I think you can change the slide now, Otto. Oh no no. Oh no, it's fine. Okay, keep it there. Keep it there. Sorry. Yeah. So we have um right. So we have our functional value, we have our sensory value, and this is about mastering flavor consistency, which includes the aroma, color of your product, right? These are the details that differentiate a homemade product from a commercially viable product, right? So you have to understand the difference between the two. Then you have the economic value, right? When we look at the economic value, this looks at a product with a longer shelf life which has more earning potential, right? A product that can be exported or branded as premium instantly increases your revenue stream, right? So you're basically taking it to another level when it comes on to the quality of your product in order to make it market ready. Then we have the sustainability value, which is another important component. And when you use low waste methods, you upcycle peels or skins, right? Compost scraps or design sustainable packaging, you are adding value, right? And you want to ensure that you really want to ensure that your customers see that in your branding and in your marketing, that you are sustainable, that you are a sustainable business, and that you're environmentally conscious, right? Because this is a very good selling point for your product. And finally, we have the cultural value. Now, this is one of the Caribbean's greatest strengths, and I really cannot emphasize this enough. I feel like we have a lot of Caribbean businesses, MSMEs, that do not capitalize on our authenticity, right? By telling our story behind our products, right? We have heritage crops like the cocoa, the cassava, the turmeric, and the breadfruit that can be transformed into modern, high demand premium products. I mean, the perfect example of this, for example, when you hear of pasta sauce or or tomato sauce, what country comes to mind? Pasta sauce, to, tomato sauce, what country comes to mind? And you can type it in the chat if you like. All right, we see some response. Italy, right? Right away. That's right. That's Italy, right? When you hear of chocolate, what country comes to mind? Okay, so we right. So we Paris. We have Germany, Belgium, right? Okay, right. So we have a couple of them, right? When you hear French fries, what country comes to mind? America, yes. The US, yes, yes, right. So this is exactly what we want for the Caribbean. We want when people hear CMOS, they hear Saint Vincent, they hear Saint Lucia, they hear Dominica, right? Yeah, when persons hear breadfruit, they say breadfruit. Where that comes from, right? We hear Jamaica, we hear Saint Lucia, we hear Saint Vincent, right? So this is what branding is about, and taking it up a notch when we talk about putting our products out there and putting our name on our products and say this is ours. Okay, and that's really something that we as Caribbean food businesses need to start doing a lot more. All right. So always ask yourself, what functional, sensory, economic, cultural, or sustainability benefit am I adding? Right? The more layers you add, the higher your competitiveness. Okay, the more layers you add, the higher your competitiveness. Okay, next slide.
Just before we transition into the next slide, I just wanted to ask, just clarify. Um, is anyone having any issues with hearing the presentation this evening, or is the volume okay?
Okay,
Okay, I am seeing some person stating that the
it's low.
okay, so it's few persons saying it's low, majority are saying it's fine. Uh,
Okay, I'll try my best to speak up a little bit more for those persons who are having trouble hearing. Okay.
Yes, I'm hearing clearly. But I just
Okay.
wanted to clarify if this is a case for everyone else. I'd recommend that you please, it may be an internet issue as to why your volume is you having difficulties hearing because I'm
Yes.
hearing clearly a lot of persons are able to hear as well.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Great.
All right. Please proceed, Miss Norbert.
Yes, I think you can move on to the next slide. Right. So now we're looking at the Caribbean's food security challenge. Right. A minute. That's the next slide. Okay. So right now, the Caribbean, as we know, is heavily dependent on imported food, and of course, this leaves us extremely vulnerable. And we spoke about that on Tuesday. Why? Because prices fluctuate, supply chains break, shipping delays happen, and of course, climate change affects global availability. Right now, with this, we can see agro-processing as a solution in solving this problem, right? And specifically advanced agro-processing. This helps us to reduce this vulnerability in several ways. And of course, the first one is by diversifying food products using local crops, right? And of course, this means that you're reducing the reliance on imported goods, right? Also, by extending shelf life, so foods remain available outside their season. Also, by reducing post harvest losses, especially with fruit items like mangoes, certain types of ground provisions, vegetables, and fruits, and of course by creating MSME driven circular food systems. And that is that is the main goal for all of these initiatives and these projects and programs geared towards agri-food and sustainability and food security is in order for us to build more sustainable and circular food systems in the region, which is very much needed. Okay, so every time you turn green figs into flour, mangoes into powders, or sea moss into fortified blends, you are actually contributing directly to national food reliance. Okay, and of course, this session is not just about entrepreneurship, it is about taking your place as leaders contributing to food security across the Caribbean. So I want you all to remember that. Now, at this time, I'm going to be sharing my screen, Otto. So you can go ahead and hop off so I can play that video. Okay, great. So let me share my screen now.
I saw a notice when you open Zoom. It said something about this computer is disabled when sharing. Can you try playing the video to just see if the audio would work? The microphone is disabled when sharing computer. Okay. All right. Let's see if it works this time.
Hi, my name is Wanjiru Mambo, founder and director of Ag-cademy Foods Limited, where our business is all about potatoes. We love potatoes and we do everything about potatoes. Our products are vacuum packed, ready to cook French fries, wedges, Lyonnaise potatoes, and the whole potatoes. You need to try our products. We do an everyday delivery. Place your orders today and we shall deliver. And this is my story. My journey in agripreneurship started last year when COVID hit the country and the world at large. I had a restaurant in Upper Hill. So we used to do, of course, the chips, and used to get somebody bring us potatoes. So in that particular month, I just got a farmer that will bring me in large quantities because our usage was a lot. So they brought me, there were like almost 10, 15 bags. Then COVID happened and we had to close down. So I had to go back with the potatoes to my house. So what I decided, I'll be selling them in the estate. And in that process of, people will come buy a bucket or two, you also realize you can't keep potatoes for so long. So even to some point, you're even giving it at throwaway price so that you dispose because you can't keep all those potatoes. So in that process, we just started thinking of what else to do, the value addition, and I got into a lot of my research. Where do people get what's the market like? Who needs potatoes? Who are the largest consumers? I did my numbers. Where do we get the potatoes? The kind that are there in the country. But it's something you do, and I was expectant, so I just packed the research somewhere until towards the end of the year when I decided I need to do this. So I just went into company registration and all that. And I was lucky, my first business that I was knocking at, they gave me good business that was worthwhile for the start. So we started production May this year, officially. That's when we took the place. That's actually by May the 10th, that's when we did our first delivery of our product. When we came in May, of course, you know the big fish, the people who have been in the market. The person who I know has been in the market longest, I think could be around 12 years. But what I realized, there's still a gap. Consumption of potatoes, same thing. The farmers, the demand is even what we have, the production we have from the farmers is still not enough for our kind of market. And I think the government, together with other organizations, they have realized that, and that's why they're encouraging even farmers to invest on good seed for potatoes to increase production. Because there's I think the frustration, you'll find the production had gone down, but right now it's starting to come up because of the interest and the education to farmers. So for me, I feel there's still a huge market out there. The end products we have the chips, we have the Lyonnaise potatoes, some people call it the sauté, what you order from the restaurant. We have whole potatoes vacuum packed. There are companies or restaurants, these are used for mainly the mashed potato, the mokimo and all that. Then you have the potato wedges, those are the long ones. Then you have the cubes. So it's a long wedge, then it's cut. So those are the products we have. Going forward, we want to introduce the potato crisps, which we want to start our production from next month. When it comes to sourcing for our inputs, that's the potatoes. At the beginning, we had to do a comparison. Is it okay to get directly from the farmer? As people will always say, if you get from the farmer, it's cheaper, it's good, you'll get the good quality, or is it better to source from the traders? So I've done both, but currently I feel like working with the traders is better, there's more consistency. I don't have to think of transport. Then the traders understand the quality we look at, because the trader goes to the market or to the farmers, brings everything together, and they know this one is perfect for wedge hats because of their production. This is okay for Mama Mboga who just sells by the roadside. This one I'll deliver to ABCD. So traders are more consistent and they will always get you the right thing. For farmers, they can say, I'll give you the right size, but for that season, whatever they harvest is not necessarily what they were expecting. So you end up having a product that won't serve you very well, or the output is not at optimal. Because if you have smaller potatoes, those end up being waste. If you cut also a potato that is not good size, the edges or those chips, they will be more. What you have to, you have to do the sorting to get the right cut. So if you don't get the right quality of potato, you'll have a lot of wastage. So the output versus the input and cost-wise won't make sense for us. So for now, trade work very well, but going forward in the future, I think we can pick an area where like let's say we pick Narok or Nakuru. We pick many farmers so that when you're able to get potatoes from them, we can even go and do the sorting at that point. So we know this is what we are carrying, they know what to use it for. What we're using currently is what is commonly known as Shangi. Then we have something, so Shangi, the good thing, is very available. You're much assured that you'll have it in the market throughout the seasons. And also, it's the cost is, in terms of cost-wise, it's affordable. Then it has our business is all about kgs and weight. It's more heavy. It has less water. When you look at other potatoes like the Red Robin, it's very good because you have a little wastage, but there are very few farmers who farm for that kind of potato. So you'll find that sometimes we'll have challenges getting it. Like from my research, I realized most farmers around Naivasha are the ones who grow it. So, but there are not so many of them. So even when I get the first lot, let's say get my 100 bags, you can get it for maybe 2 months, but now from the 4th month, from the 5th month, you'll find they don't have it. So Shangi for now remains better. Then the Red Robin has a lot of water. If you bring in and keep a lot, as you do production, you're losing the water, you lose much water, so your weight goes down. Now we'll stick to Shangi, the business being very young, and you want a good support. And also what I say, you reduce the learning curve because it's what is being used and what is readily available. Use that for now. Then as you do your R&D, your research, and you're trying to bring in more variety, because also hotels have different references. Say if someone from the Netherlands who they are very good with potatoes and someone is running a restaurant, they want what the tastes, they are very specific even on the taste. So they'll start telling you, I don't like Shangi, I prefer the other variety. And I understand at the moment in the country we have over 65 different kind of potatoes. So as we go by, we'll always try the new ones and see. You never know, maybe in 4 years down the line, Shangi won't be as common as it is now. As a starter, the main challenge initially was now that consistency of potatoes and people to believe in you. You'll find most of the clients that we supply, their payments come in 30 days, 15 days, but the farmer or the trader want money immediately. So managing the cash flow is always a challenge at the beginning, but maybe going forward as we get more clients and we are doing more production, that will be a smooth sailing. And also if you establish relationship with these traders such that they can just pay you the potatoes, you tell them I'll pay you by the end of the week or by the end of the month, it will work very well. The other challenge is when I'm running this factory, I'm not at full capacity. I have a lot that is a fixed cost. So until I increase my production, that's when now the business moves to the next level. I have a team, they'll always be here. So if they are not fully utilized, you see, that remains a fixed cost. I have a car. If that car goes all the way to Kitengela, I wish I would have had more drop-off points as they did the Kitengela route, because it's the same fuel. So for now, what the main challenge is, we are not at optimal capacity. At the moment, you're doing 1,000 kilos a day. This factory running day and night should give me 5,000 to 6,000 kilos a day. Going forward, I want Wedge Hat to be known for giving the customers a chemical-free product, and that's why our main way of preserving is vacuum packing. I know the market, what the market this will be guided on the needs of the market. I've met clients who say we don't want vacuum packed, we just want, you just finish processing, just put in bags and deliver. There you'll find you have to put a bit of preservative for that. But when you vacuum pack, it's mainly removal of air, and when chilled, they have a shelf life of up to 5 days. So my vision with Wedge Hat, the market is still so huge. I'll want also to establish factories in other counties, because like I have a particular client who is telling me, I need these potatoes in Eldoret, I need these potatoes in Yali. But it won't make sense, economical sense for me to serve just that market. But if I had a factory nearby to even serve other businesses around it, then it will be so good. And also, is from a personal point, the kind who like empowering people and creating jobs, and especially for the women. 70% of the factory workers are ladies, so I feel like I would want to impact more of them. And I have an age, you'll find the people we work with, it's an age of around 40 and above. So you're helping them have a source of income, feed their families, and take care of themselves. And also of the young people, I hope to impact on their lives, create more jobs for them. Like in the research, they're the best people to use. They'll go there to the market, to the farm, and get you all the data that you need about potatoes, and also leading it to the market. The sales, we are creating a sales team, and basically it will be more of the younger generation. And you hope as the factory grows, as we increase in our production, they're the same people who grow with us. Some can end up being in operations, the marketing managers, the finance people. Yeah, so I look forward to that. I feel the future is in agribusiness. Even when COVID happened, people didn't stop eating, despite the minimal income people had. Food, people will always be eating, people will always be fed. So I would encourage people, let's think about agribusiness, and more so value addition. It's such a pity you'll have a farmer in Meru, they produce so much, let's say, of avocados, bananas, but the shelf life of those products is they can't keep them for so long. Today, I bring a whole truck of fresh vegetables to the market. They are not sold. In the afternoon, I just have to sell them at throwaway price. So I'll encourage more people. Let's think about value addition. So let's encourage more people to think of value addition. There's so much that can be done. When I was doing the research on the kind of machinery I need, the factory I went, the place I was buying the machinery, I actually realized it's a German company. I realized the machines that are there and the people who are doing value addition and what these machines can do, it's amazing. So you just need to pick a product, see how you can do a value addition and increase the shelf life and benefit from it more. The same thing, I have potatoes, I produce, at least I have stock that I can sell for the next 5 days. I can do the potato crisps, where the extra potatoes I have, that's also a value addition. You package the crisps, you have stock to run you for a month. Your work is just to push it to the market. And that was my story. If you haven't tried our potatoes, you need to. Weekend is coming. Please place your orders and enjoy with your family and friends. If you have an event, make it wow and memorable. And also, remember to share your story.
Okay. I hope you all were able to hear. Yeah, it was breaking up a little bit. Yeah, it could be an internet issue. Okay, great. So we're back on. Right. So as you can see, are you hearing me? Is everybody hearing me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, great. So from that video, can anybody tell me something that resonated with them from the video, right? Anything particular that stood out in terms of process, in terms of her transition? She said she started out with a restaurant, and then COVID hit, and she had all these potatoes, and she was kind of just throwing them out or selling them for very low pricing, until she started to do her research, right, to find out who. Very good. Yes, she did her market research. Very, very important. A lot of the times we get a bit carried away in an idea, right? And we don't do our due diligence. And then we end up regretting it, right? Doing your market research is very, very important. And a big part of that is understanding who your competitors are, especially if you're in the phase of growth and scaling. It is very, very important that you understand who your competitors are and where the gaps are. Who is not who is not fulfilling or solving a certain problem in your market, right? Somebody said the fact that she took her time to. Yes. People tend to want to rush the process. You cannot rush the process, because if you do and you skip certain steps, you'll have to go right back to square one, right? So yeah, she took her time to research before going out. Yes, and she said that there's always a need for food, of course. And yeah, agro processing is definitely the way to go. Adding value added products to raw ingredients, right? You can never go wrong with that. Another thing that she said that really stood out for me, she was able to work with traders, right? And I thought that was very innovative and smart, because it kind of prevented her from having the headache of getting the right raw ingredient for her product, right? Because with the trader, she was able to develop that relationship where the traders understood her product and understood what she was looking for, and was able to help source that for her. It's almost like a middleman. Yeah, and it saved her transportation, right? Yeah, so oh yeah, you said it, Stephanie. So she saw it was better to purchase from the middleman instead of the farmers. Yes. Very, very, very good observation. And yeah, it saved her a lot of time and money, right? And also they were able to get their right potatoes. Yes, 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 very much so. Um, Teresa said she can see resilience in her and will try ways that will bring money. Yes, people, we have to try different things, right? Try and see what works and what doesn't, right? Have a promotional period where you get persons to buy one and get another new product free, just to get persons to test it and get their feedback from it, right? There are many ways that you can work around it without having to spend too much money, right? Okay, let me see where I'm at. Give me a second. Okay, so Otto, you can move on to the next slide now. Okay, so Market first mindset. Yeah. So, as I said initially, now we move into one of the most important parts, and that is having market driven product development. Now, at this advanced level, product development must begin with market intelligence, not the ingredients. So, at this point, it is not about the product, it's about the market that you're serving. A lot of the times, too many entrepreneurs start with the crop. I have mango, so let me make mango jam. um with this, you must flip that thinking. Don't just make the product because it's there, right? Understand your market and who you are serving. What does the market want, right? What are the consumers struggling with, right? What gaps exist among competitors? Which trends are taking off? Understanding the trends in your market is also very, very important. For example, vegan, more persons are going vegan, more persons want low sodium in their products, functional beverages, convenience foods, right? What packaging frustrations do customers have? Right? These are some of the questions that you need to ask yourself, right? Um, you want to identify the market demand. So you want to analyze consumers' preferences and trends, identify those gaps, and of course, recognize emerging marketing opportunities. You want to leverage data driven decisions, right? So use market research and consume data. Don't just go off the top of your head, right? Test assumptions with focus groups, validate concepts before production. Test, right? Um, yeah. Next slide. Okay. So, as I said, these are some market intelligence questions, right? And I spoke about them a while ago. What does the market want? Understanding your consumer preferences to align with their demands. What are consumers struggling with? You want to identify the pain points a new product could address. What gaps exist among competitors? This is finding unserved niches or areas for differentiation. What trends are taking off and what packaging frustrations do customers have? Next. Then we have some market intelligent tools that you can use, right? So with this, you want to use tools like focus groups, right? And this allows you to gather qualitative feedback from target consumers on product concepts and features, right? Then we have small batch testing. This has to do with producing limited quantities to test viability and gather initial consumer reactions. You also have sensory evaluation. So this is assessing product taste, texture, and appearance for your marketplace appeal, right? And the perfect example of this is KFC, right? KFC is a global and international company. However, the KFC in St. Lucia is going to be different from the KFC in Japan. And the KFC in Japan is going to be different from the KFC in the US. And the KFC in the US is going to be different from the KFC in Nigeria, right? Why is that so? Even though it is a global brand, right? It's a global company. In these different countries, in these different regions, some kind of testing had to take place for these different KFCs to understand what it is that their market, their local market want in the KFC. If you are serving a market or, for example, a region or a country that loves spicy food, it is okay to put spices and high level spice in the product. However, if you're serving a market that doesn't really like spicy food but they more prefer sweet sweet food, then you would cater your product to meet that market demand, right? um Otto? Okay, thanks. Yeah. All right. Then we have MVP launches. That means minimum viable launch, right? Sorry, minimum viable product launches. So this is basically releasing a basic version, right, to a small market segment to collect feedback quickly, right? So that's called your minimum viable product. Okay. Then we have packaging and label mock-up. So this is where you want to create prototypes to test visual appeal and information clarity with consumers. And of course, you have costing and feasibility studies. So you want to analyze your production costs, pricing strategies, and of course, potential profitability. Okay, so now we're going to look at four paths to innovation. So there's various ways in which you can be innovative with your product, right? And innovation has to do with how you stand out, right? And of course, at this level, innovation must solve a problem using local resources creatively, right? So let's look at four parts of innovation for MSMEs in agro-processing. The first one is ingredient innovation. So this is where, for example, you're turning breadfruit into flour blends and creating turmeric-based beverages or designing CMOS protein bars, right? Then you have process innovation. So this is where, for example, you're using solar hydration for low cost energy savings. You're freeze drying through shared facilities for premium products or using fermentation techniques to create unique Caribbean flavors. And of course, in the video, we saw where she used the process of innovation, where she used vacuum sealing, right? So she's removing the air out of her potato product, right? And that's her form of organic preservation, right? And there are various ways in which you can do this without actually adding too much chemical preservatives to your product. Then we have packaging innovation. So this is where eco-friendly packaging options are available. There are late export pouches, for example, and heat stable retort pouches that allow you to enter new markets. So you have to do your research depending on the type of product you have on the package that would suit you or suit your product the best, right? Then we have business model innovation. So this is where you can have subscription snap boxes, for example, co-packing arrangement, or integrated farm to process to market networks. Okay, there are various ways that you can do this. Remember, innovation does not always mean inventing something new, right? You don't need to reinvent the wheel. All right, it means improving what already exists. All right, so your dried mango can become a mango tea blend, or a mango seasoning, or a mango granola, for example. Right, so always remember that when trying to be innovative with your product, you're not reinventing the wheel, you are just improving what already exists. Okay, next. Okay, now we're going to look at an area that a lot of businesses struggle with, and that has to do with formulation and standardization excellence, right? Now, at this advanced level, formulation includes factors such as pH control, water activity management, natural preservatives, sensory evaluation, consistency testing, and SOPs and documentation. Remember, we spoke about that. The SOPs, your standard operating procedures, are very, very important when it comes on to developing your product. Inconsistent flavor. Inconsistent pH and inconsistent textures are some of the most common reasons that MSMEs in agro-process, and not just agro-processing, but just in food in general, in manufacturing food products, is one of the main reasons why they fail to scale, right? Because they have not mastered that yet. Consistency separates hobbyists from professionals. Remember that. Consistency separates somebody doing a hobby from those who are professionals. So if your pepper sauce tastes different every month, supermarkets will not trust your brand. Standardization is required for scale. When you are doing your when you are testing your products, ensure that you take account the measurements that you're using in your products. Measuring is very, very important. Okay. And of course, as your business begins to grow and you start to hire staff, it is important that you train them accordingly so that that consistency maintains. Okay, everybody with me? I'm feeling kind of lonely. I'm feeling like I'm talking to myself. All right, that's great. Okay, awesome, awesome, awesome. Great stuff. Okay, thanks, guys. Okay, next slide. Okay, building. Next slide. Right, so here we're going to be looking at building your brand identity. Right? Your brand is your competitive advantage, ladies. Always remember that. A strong brand communicates value, and this does not, and this has nothing to do with size, right? This has nothing to do with size. A strong brand communicates value and tells a story that resonates with consumers. When you look at building your brand identity, there's certain key factors you have to take into consideration. One of them is your unique selling proposition, right? For this, you can look at Caribbean heritage ingredients, right? You can highlight clean, natural processing methods or organic processing methods. You can look at solar dried or other innovative techniques that uses low energy. And of course, the fact that your product or your business is has a woman-led production story. Okay, then you have brand storytelling. You can connect with meaning before taste, right? Remember, people want to feel connected, right? Highlight your journey and your challenges. Share the why behind your products. Why are you doing this? Why did you decide to make this specific kind of product? And of course, you want to build emotional connections with your consumers. Anybody watch that movie Ratatouille? Has anybody ever watched that movie? If you haven't, you should. It's called Ratatouille. And basically, for those who don't know, Ratatouille is about right, who basically loves food and somehow winds up in a kitchen cooking, right? But he does it under the guise of his caretaker, right? Who is a chef, right? Um, and in the movie, the protagonist is a food critic, right? And he's supposed to be like one of the harshest food critic in Paris. And he comes to the restaurant and everybody's nervous because he's coming to try the food, and anything he writes can determine whether or not that restaurant stays open or closes down. And this critic, with all the fanciest dishes they have on this menu, this critic um asks for various dishes and so on, but he just was not impressed. And then he tells the chef to surprise him, of course, not knowing that the chef is actually a rat. And the rat decides to do a very simple, traditional dish called ratatouille. And of course, the other cooks in the kitchen are like, why would you do this peasant dish? Because this dish was known for poor people, right? And the rat said, no, this is the dish he wants to do. He wants to do this ratatouille. And he does the dish, he does it very traditionally, beautiful dish. And of course, when the food critic takes that first bite, it transports him back to when he was a little boy. And of course, this man is an old man now. And when he eats that dish, it transports him back in time to when he was a little boy and his mother used to make him that very same dish. And this restaurant, he gave a really great review because of that dish. Why? Because the chef was able to create a dish that connected with his emotions, right? And that's what we have to do as food entrepreneurs. Then we have packaging communication. First impression must convey value, right? You must be clear, have concise product narrative, right? Highlight key unique selling propositions on package. For example, solar dried mango from women led farm. Very specific, right? So that when the consumer sees that, they say, oh, wow, women are actually involved in the process of making this product, so these are the things that you can do to help to push the branding of your product. And of course, in saying that a package for solar dried mangoes from women led farm, it communicates sustainability, local empowerment, and quality, right? And of course, this story builds connection before consumption. Next slide. Then we have strategic pricing, right? Now, to price products, you must reflect both production costs and perceived value, right? Now, remember, when you're doing your pricing, I want you to remember this. A Blue Waters bottle of water can have different costings or cost different prices in different places depending on where it is. A Blue Waters in a corner shop can cost 250. A Blue Waters in a supermarket can probably cost $3, and a Blue Waters bottle of water in the airport could cost $5, right? So you need to know based on the environment or the market that you're selling to, how to position or how to come up with your costing. Okay, but foundationally, you must also ensure that you take into account how much it costs you to actually make the product. Okay, and don't be afraid to have premium prices, right? However, with premium prices, you must have a premium product. Okay, implement competitive pricing strategies. Some people think that in order for persons to want to buy their product, it must be cheaper than my competitor. No. Okay, it's about the value that you're giving to the customer, right? For example, turmeric is a very popular type of spice used in cooking and so on. I don't buy any type of turmeric from anywhere. I buy my turmeric from a specific person. Yes, it charges a little bit more, but why I buy it from him specifically is because the turmeric is very rich, it's very potent, it's very strong, right? So I am willing to put my money into that product because I know the value that I'm getting out of the product. So that's why it is important that the ingredients that you use in your product are of quality, right? Regularly review pricing based on market feedback. Then we look at customer retention. Customer retention is very, very important. And that is how you know if you have a good product. If you have consumers or customers coming back to you for your product, it means that you have something that is really good. So you want to develop loyalty programs to encourage repeat purchases, especially for those customers that have been there with you. You want to create subscription models for consistent revenue. You want to maintain consistent and engaging communication. One of the experience that I had, there is a specific hotel that I visited like maybe one day, and I think it was for like maybe a day pass. And ever since that day, every year they send me an email wishing me happy birthday. Every year, right? That is good customer service. That is a good way of engaging with your customers and making them know that, you know, hey, we remember you, right? And these are the little things that you can do. All right. Then we have export readiness. You want to ensure labels meet international requirements. Very, very important. You want to implement robust traceability systems. And of course, the last session we had, we spoke about the batching system, right? You want to maintain consistent production quality and quantity. The worst thing is when, you know, a customer or a client asks for a product and you say you don't have it. That is the worst thing. It's better you have more and you find ways of trying to sell off the product, okay, than you don't have any at all, right? A strong brand, meticulously developed and strategically managed, can drive sales even before the consumer tastes the product. And that's very true. Okay, next slide. Okay, so here we have an interactive poll, right? And you know, anybody can answer in the chat, right? Well, all of you, it would be good if all of you could participate and, you know, answer in the chat. Um, which local crop do you see the most value in transforming? Right? Is it breadfruit? Is it cassava? Or is it mango?
We have one person saying banana. Okay, we have another saying mango.
Okay.
We
Oh
have two for
yes.
mango. All
Okay,
right, two
great.
for breadfruit.
Okay, mango, breadfruit, mango, breadfruit. Okay, so we seen a lot of mango, or I could say 50-50 between mango and breadfruit. Yeah, one person say all of them. Yes, yes, that's true. Cassava, I saw the vegetable dictionary recent visit to Suriname. Yes, cassava, mango. Okay, great. What is your biggest barrier? Is it formulation, packaging, equipment, or capital? When it comes down to your business, what is your biggest barrier? Okay, so some person saying packaging, um, capital. Anybody else? Capital equipment. Capital. Yeah, capital is a big issue. I don't want to get too much into it because that will take us into another session. But yeah, I am, trust me, I'm very much aware that that is something that is a big issue, especially for MSMEs. I'm just hoping that, you know, our government and non-government organizations are able to create means to support food entrepreneurs. Right. Okay, so the last question is, which product would you most love to export one day? right? And if it's not in any of the options, you can always type it in the chat. But for the options, we have pepper sauce, fruit jam, chocolate, sea moss. Okay, so some people say it's pepper sauce. They would like to export jam, fruit jam, honey. Very good. Yes, honey is a good one. Yeah. CMOS, yeah. I just love CMOS. CMOS, there's so many things that you can do with CMOS. Dehydrated fruits, yes. Pepper sauce, a fruit pulp, yep. Yeah. I noticed there is one type of product that I don't see much of in St. Lucia. I don't know if they do it in the other smaller islands like St. Vincent and so on, but it's actually quite popular and there's a very good market for it and there's a lot of potential for it to grow, and that is marmalade. Marmalade is a product that is not really explored much. And I think that's definitely another huge potential market that small islands can really tap into, right? Pasta from our root crops, yes, yes. I think that would do really, really well. Oh, that person also does marmalades, great. Um, yeah, but the pasta from the root crops, yes, I think that's a very viable market that needs to be explored more. And even the fries, when we were watching the video with the young lady and the potatoes and the different wedges and fries and so on, I'm saying we could do that with breadfruit. We can do that with sweet potato, right? And we can even flavor it, right? So when you process, for example, the breadfruit, when you process the breadfruit, right, and you cut it up in the wedges or the fry shape, you can always season it. So you have seasoned breadfruit fries or seasoned breadfruit wedges, right? And you can package it like that and sell it like that. I think that is something that would do really, really well as well. And the dashing fries as well, yes, right? Somebody said the breadfruit pasta was launched in 2022 at Food and Oh, nice, awesome, awesome, awesome. Oh, this is so exciting. Edos. Oh, Edos. I haven't seen much people use that root crop, right? Edos is, I think, is really good too to explore the cocoa stick as well. Dashin, yes, I love Dashin. Dashin is so versatile. The sour sop, yes, love sour sops. So many guys, let me tell you, we have it. We have everything, but we just need to really just sit down and really put our heads together. And I think we need to work together more. I think that is one of our biggest hindrances, especially as small islands, we don't have large markets locally, right? So we need to do more in coming together and working together, right? A lot more ginger products, yes. Yep. Awesome, guys. Thank you so much. You guys have been doing so well. I'm loving this session. Okay. All right. So the next slide looks at a quick minimal viable. This is where you're gonna need your notebook or a paper, notepad, and a pencil or pen. What I want you to do, I'm gonna give you 3 minutes to do this, right? You're gonna choose one ingredient, and I want you to choose an ingredient that you have not explored before, something out of what you are already doing. So you're gonna choose one ingredient, specifically a local Caribbean crop. All right. Next, you're going to identify a target market, meaning who will buy your product. Right. I want you to define a product concept, meaning what will your product be. I want you to describe the packaging, meaning how will you package it. And I want you to set a selling price. What will you charge? Now, in terms of the selling price, I know that might be a stretch, especially if it's a ingredient that you're not or product that you're not too familiar with. But if you're not too sure, you can just leave that out. But the first four questions for sure, I want you all to tackle these questions. And remember, use ingredient that you are not familiar with, or you haven't worked with before. Right, so you're gonna and you can always type it in the chat, right? Let us see. So Roxanne, Bernice, Jermaine, um Marcian, what else we have here? Kimberly, Verna, Stephanie, Stacy, Avril, Teresa. Go ahead and type in the chat. It's okay, Shamara. That's all right. That's okay, no problem. Those who can, just think about, I'm giving you 3 to 5 minutes to do that. So choose one ingredient. I market. I remember your target market can be any group, right? It can be working mothers, it can be toddlers, it can be senior citizens, it can be, I want you to think big, right? It can be persons who love the gym or athletes, right? Yeah, I want you to think big, right? So I'm giving you 5 minutes to do that. Plantain chips, oh, they already have somebody doing. If you're doing plantain chips, it have to be different. Huh? How are you gonna make it different? Yeah, You see, you no plantain punch everybody. No, it can't be for everybody. That's why you have to have a target market, right? It can be for everybody. That's Shanta. Is it for men between the ages of 25 and 50, right? Okay, so we have some more responses coming in. So we have Desiree saying her ingredient would be breadfruit. Her target market would be health conscious adults, busy professionals, and families looking for convenience. Very good. We have the product concept, which would be breadfruit power bites, nice. Mini baked breadfruit snack bites blended with coconut. Nice. High fiber, energy boosting, and great for on the go snack. Very good, yes. The packaging would be eco friendly craft pouch with a clear window. Very good. Resealable ziplock. Nice. Simple earthy design with green brown tones. Nice. Selling price 10 EC per one. Nice. Very nice. Well done. I like that one. Desiree, well done. Amanda said breadfruit, but I need some more from you, Amanda. Okay, so Shanta says for adults, since it will have alcohol. Yeah, it's for adults, but you need to be more specific. Is it for men? Is it for women? Because some is it gonna have alcohol in it? Oh yes, yeah, right. So you say it's gonna have alcohol. Now remember, men and women, some women like light alcohol, some men like the alcohol heavier, right? So you have to think about all that, right? And the age group, right? Some persons, Masian Justin said the crop would be seamless, the target market would be women. What age group, right? Product seamless face wash. Okay, nice. I love that. Packaging would be glass jars, cost $45. Very nice. Okay, dehydrated food snacks for kids. Very good. Yes. Remember, you have different types of consumers, right, or buyers. So you have the first consumer, who would be the person who is buying it, but the secondary consumer would be the person who would be consuming it. So the kids would be considered the secondary consumer. The first consumer would be the adult, right? So they have nice um mango, pumpkin seeds. That's different, right? Used as part of a plant-based protein powder for women and men with protein. Oh, love that. Very, very nice. Very nice, Miss Elliott. Then we have Kathy Regis that said cassava chips targeted for kids, cartoon characters for kids, $5, $2 for kids. Nice. Soursop herbal medicinal markets. Sorrel liqueur, very good. Glass bottles, adults for special occasions. I like that, Roxanne. Then we have the mango jam. Parents for kids, yes. The squeeze bottle, nice, yes. We have squash, very good. As a snack, Bernice, would it be a dried snack? How would you make it as a snack? All right, then we have cassava bread. Nice. Weight Watchers, nice. Market, very good. Um, okay, nice. Wow. I could read this forever, but we we have to watch the time. Right? Oh, you guys have some great stuff. Herb infused mango jam. Guys, you see, you all have the ideas. You all have the ideas. Right? You just need to put everything together. Okay, great. Well done. Okay, Otto, you can move on to the next slide for me, please. Okay, just following. Okay, so we have innovation. Is that the same slide you're on, Otto? Okay, yeah. So it's an innovation and sustainability exercise. So using breadfruit, cassava, or mango, create three value-added products. Choose one Caribbean staple, three innovative products, and consider forms, functions, and markets. And then exercise 3 is a sustainability check. Identify one way to reduce waste in your current or future operations. So I want you all to do exercise 3 for me, right? Identify one way to reduce waste in your current or future operations. You want to consider low waste processing methods, upcycling byproducts, and sustainable packaging options, right? So I want you all to quickly again. The exercise 3, the sustainability check. Identify one way to reduce waste in your current or future operations. Very quickly. Reusable bottles, packaging, yes. Thank you, Roxanne. Anybody else? How can you reduce waste? Um, Composting, very good, yes. Composting. Recycling waste, yes. Make jam from sorrel waste used to make. Very good. I love that, Roxanne. Make jam from sorrel waste used to make a liqueur. Very good idea. Using all the produce, coconut oil and fiber to make flour. Okay. Waste from breadfruit skins can be fried or dehydrated, powdered and spiced to use as shakes for. Very good. Yes, nice. Peels, skins, pulp from mango, papaya, or breadfruit processing can be dehydrated and turned into teas. Very good idea. Seasonings and so on. Wow, they're just coming. You just coming. You'll just coming. I'm going to go with eggshells. Yes, we can crush the shells and either use it to throw into the soil for our plants or to scrub pots and pans. Reusable cup for composting, watermelon rind for pickling. Yes, I spoke about that on Tuesday. Use old containers to make flower pots. Very good. Want watermelon? Yeah. Fertilizer with banana peels. Yes. Planting skids. Awesome. So we have some really awesome ways that you guys can incorporate sustainability in your operations. Awesome. Okay. Auto, next slide. All right. So going back over some key takeaways from this session that you want to remember, right? You want to operate with a growth mindset and you want to integrate strategic thinking and advanced practices into your business operations. So when it comes on to strategy, you want to remember to develop a clear market driven plan for your product development, right? When it comes on to technical knowledge, you want to master scientific aspects of food processing, such as pH control, water activity management, to ensure the product quality is maintained. When you look at quality systems, you want to implement rigorous standards like HACCP and GMP, means good manufacturing processes, to achieve consistency and compliance for broader market access. You want to be innovative with your product. So you want to creatively utilize Caribbean resources and differentiate products through ingredient, process, and packaging innovations. Then we have sustainability. You want to adopt eco-friendly practices, reducing waste and contributing to a circular food system that enhances product value. And finally, guys, most importantly, you must have a growth mindset. Commitment to continuous improvement. Don't stay stuck at the same level that you are in your business, right? You need to look for ways to grow and improve your operation and be forward thinking, right? You want to you want to develop in a way that enables your business to adapt and thrive in changing markets. I'm telling you, because if you don't, you're going to be left behind, right? So yeah, so that's it for me. I think that was
All
the
right,
end
thank
of.
you very much, Ms. Norbert, for your very insightful presentation this evening. Of course, we'll now move over into the question and answer segment of this session. So, ladies, please feel free to type away, ask your questions in the chat. We will be having a question and answer segment for the next 30 minutes or so, so that Ms. Norbert can just clarify anything that needs that you may need to clarify. Okay. Whilst I have this opportunity, I'll just mention that I've also posted the polls for rating this evening session. So please just go into the polls tab on Zoom and you would be able to see the questions and just give a rating of the session. Please be sure to do so before you leave the session for this evening. But again, we're on into the question and answer segment of this session. I would just remind everyone, I mentioned this earlier at the beginning of this presentation, but so tonight is the last presentation in our Ag-cademy program. And so we would be having the follow-up, the last session. It's not mandatory. That would be next week, Tuesday. I think that would be November 25th. That would be our review session where we would allow you to just give feedback on the sessions on the Ag-cademy program, what you think was done really well, what could be improved, and new ideas, things that we can look into. So I'll just mention quickly that one of the things that came out of last year's review session was that we want the attendees requested a more diverse um a more diverse presentation or more diverse diversity in the facilitators, the person who will be teaching the sessions. As you all know, Helen's daughters were in St. Lucia, St. Kitts and Nevis, and the Grenadines. And so this year there was a concerted effort in just making sure that we shed a lot of in making sure we have different facilitators from different islands. And we have Miss Norbert with us this evening, who is practically a solution. She she has been
Yeah.
here, but Miss Norbert is originally from Jamaica.
Yes.
All right, so we're trying to diversify. Hopefully next year, when we're able to expand, we're able to diversify some more. So please be sure to join us for next week's review session. Again, it's not mandatory, but your feedback would be greatly appreciated in just improving the Ag-cademy program that we're having every year. Okay, so again, please, ladies, please be sure to ask your questions. Anything that you need Ms. Norbert to just clarify on the topics that were covered this evening. Please be sure to type your questions in the chat, as that would allow for more persons to ask questions rather than one person has a lot of questions, and it prevents others from asking their questions. Okay, so we have Miss Melanda Coulson. I've noticed that for agro-processing, all the answers seem to gravitate towards fruits and food, yet there is a lot of agro-processing that can come out of livestock.
Yeah, yeah, that's very true. I think my presentation mostly focused on food because I think Helen's daughter's mission is mostly focused or deep rooted in agriculture. So, that's why I did the presentation mostly around that. But yes, definitely agro processing, it can come into different forms, right? um I don't know if you want to share anything, Melinda, in terms of the livestock. Is there anything you want to expound on that?
Melanda, is there anything you would like to add to that question?
Mm-hmm. True. Yes,
Yes,
yes.
right.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. In terms of livestock, it depends. Like for example, with meat, we know that right now, especially when it comes down to sustainability, one of the big mission is to reduce the amount of meat that we include in our diet, right? So persons are more livestock in relation to animal farming. Are you referring to that?
Are you answering Kathy Regis' question or Melanda?
I see. Oh, it's two different
It's
persons.
two different persons, yes.
Oh, okay. So yeah, livestock in relation to farming, like cattle, sheep, chicken. Is that what you're making mention of, Milanda? Oh,
Yes.
nice. Okay, nice. Okay, good. Okay, all right. So yes, I'm trying to type. So okay, so you do goat products, doing soap with the milk. Okay. Yogurt can be made from milk, leather from livestock. Yes, 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 very much. I'm glad that you give me some more clarity. Yes, yes, very much so. So lamb ham, yes, yes, very much so, right? And of course, when we're looking at livestock in farming, the way in which we grow our animals in relation to sustainability is very important. And the recommended method of doing this is free range, right? Um, because of course the animals are less stressed. They tend to grow much better. They tend to be healthier when they are like this. Um, somebody also mentioned, oh yes, that actually came into my mind, Roxanne. The fish, the fish and the seafood products. I know that in certain parts of Africa, smoked fish and smoked meats are very, very popular because Africa is so big. Um, you tend to have to travel far distances to get products from one place to the next, and of course, it can spoil. So smoking, that actually came to my mind during the presentation to mention it, but I just end up forgetting. But yes, I think we could actually look into smoking fish as a preservation method as well, right? Meat can be sold leftover, can be processed into ground meat, and bones can be processed into bone meal. Yes, yes, very much so. Um, and of course, the bone from the meat can be used to make broth, right? And hotels use different types of sorry, not broth, stock. Sorry, stock is what I want to say. So the hotels and restaurants use stock a lot, right? So if you're rearing animals, right, and you process the meat and you're left with a lot of bone, you could actually go into making stock, canning it, bottling it, and selling it, right? Somebody said smoked meat is very popular in Dominica. Really? Okay, 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 okay. Smoked meat is not very. I don't think smoked meat is popular in Saint Lucia. But that's definitely something that could be explored a little bit more. Um, Stocks for yes, yes, and that's why I said the stocks. I think like for those persons who rear animals and process the meat, I really think that is a good area to go into making of the stocks. And because remember, guys, the whole point of all of this is to reduce on the importation of food. And believe it or not, the hotel and restaurant industry is the industry that contributes towards the most imported food, not just in St. Lucia or St. Vincent or so on, but just the Caribbean region in general. So if we could find ways of making these products available locally, yeah, okay. So Bernice is telling me the entire Caribbean, yes, right? So if we can find ways of making these products locally and making it available for the hotels and the restaurants, it would be good, right? Somebody said the fishermen also use the skin of the cattle to catch lobsters. Really? Oh, I learned something today. I did not know that. It's the first time I'm hearing that. GK Joseph. Thanks so much for sharing that. Um, Anybody else has anything they want to share or any other questions?
Any questions pertaining to the presentation this evening, ladies? Anything you need clarified? Doesn't seem so, Miss Not seems the presentation was
Was
clear
very
and
thorough.
concise. Yes.
Okay,
So
that's
that's good.
good.
So yes, ladies, you could use this opportunity to ask any questions you have or just give feedback. Share your experiences. Again, we're keeping it we're asking that you type out your questions or your feedback just to allow us to have a control of the session so that we don't over. I know that many of us we've had a long day, so we want to make sure we
Mhm.
respect everyone's time. So please type out any feedback that you have in the chat, and that would allow us to answer any questions or see the feedback that you have.
Okay, it seems like everybody's is good.
But it seems, again, everything was clear and precise. Thank you so much, Ms.
Yeah,
Norbert,
you're
for your
welcome.
presentation this evening. Ladies, once again, this is our final presentation in our Ag-cademy program. And so we will be having a review session that will be next week, Tuesday. Please, for those of you who are able, please take some time to join that session where you're able to share your feedback. Your feedback would be greatly appreciated. in assisting us in improving our Ag-cademy program. Okay, so my apologies. Seems there was something I missed. Teresa Smith.
Oh, yeah, she said, thank you. Hold on.
Oh, well, okay, so Teresa Smith is just thanking you for tonight's session.
You're welcome. You're welcome, Teresa. My pleasure.
Thank you for giving that feedback. And the slides for the session.
Yes. I could send that to you, Otto.
Yes, please.
Well,
And I'll
well,
just
oh yes, oh yes, but you
you
have it
send it to me.
already. Yeah,
Yes, I have it. Yes, thank you. So this one
yeah,
as well. So I could just drop it in the group chat so everyone has access to it.
yeah.
All right. So once again, Miss Norbert, thank you so much for your presentation this evening. And ladies, thank you so
You're
much
very
for
welcome.
to be present with us this evening and learning this information on agro-processing and how we could be better stewards of in agriculture in a green, like the Right Honorable like to say, agreeing with the culture that is our agriculture. So thank you so much, everyone, and
Yeah.
please do have a wonderful evening.